I love using images when I teach my students new words and phrases because they can connect or associate what they see with the language, and in that way they're memorizing the words and the phrases and the pronunciation in the language instead of trying to translate into another language. That's why using images in context is so important. These are some of the images that I use with my students on a daily basis, so let's get started. Here we have a laundry room. It looks like someone's laundry room in their house. And we have a woman and we have a child, and the mother has a pair of pants in her hand, and it looks like she's checking the pockets, which is what we customarily do before we wash clothes because we don't want to wash money or something that's important if we have something in the pockets. This woman has a ponytail, and I can see some clothing or some clothes on the floor by her feet. There's also a child right here, a boy, who has a shirt in his hand, and we see a clothes basket. We see some clothes in the clothes basket, another pile of clothes here on the floor, and we can see the washing machine and the dryer. I think this is going to be the dryer and this is the washing machine. Sometimes it's hard to tell. On the wall we see a broom, a mop. We can see also a shelf. This is called a shelf with a bucket. This looks like paper towels. Right here it says soft, so I think this is softener, fabric softener. And here we have a box of soap, which we also call laundry detergent. In the second image, we could see the child on his knees, and he is handing his mother the clothes. And she's putting the clothes into the washer. In the next image, we see the mother pouring soap into the washing machine or the washer. And the boy's just standing there with his hands in his pocket. In the next image, we see the mother taking out the washed clothes, and the child is putting the clothes into the dryer. Right here we can see that the clothes are dripping because we see a droplet or a water drop or a drop of water. In this image, the woman is smiling while she is folding clothes. Right here we see a pile of clothes. And in the final image, we see the clothes on the clothesline. This is called a clothesline. She's hanging the clothes to dry. We also see clothespins. These are things that we use to hold the clothes onto the clothesline. We see a pair of shorts, and we see a tank top, and they're dripping. We see the drops, water drops, or the droplets, drops of water. And we see the woman ironing the clothes. And this right here is called an ironing board. The child is smiling, and he's holding in his arms a shirt. On the floor, we see a basket of clothes. And on the right of the image, I can see a vacuum cleaner. The verb is also to vacuum. So you use a vacuum cleaner to vacuum. Or you use the vacuum to vacuum. You can say vacuum cleaner or vacuum. And here we see a rack where she hangs the clothes that she's already washed, dried, and ironed. These right here are called hangers. So she hangs the clothes on hangers. Let's move on to the next image. In this image, we see someone with something in their right hand. It looks like some type of tube. And in their left hand, they're cutting a slice, or they're slicing it with a knife. Here in image 2, we see blood running down the hand. And the person cut their hand, obviously. In image number 3, we see the person putting their hand or their finger their index finger under the water. The water's running out of this thing called the faucet. The faucet is the place where the water comes out. And in image number 4, the person is applying some type of cloth, maybe a paper towel, to their finger. In image 5, we see the person applying ointment to the cut. Here's the cut, and here is the tube of ointment. It says prevents infection, so that's why I know it's some type of ointment. And in number 6, we see the person with a Band-Aid or some type of adhesive bandage on their right index finger. The word Band-Aid is a word that is a brand name of a type of adhesive bandage that we use when we have cuts. Children always ask for a Band-Aid when they get an owie. An owie is a word that children use or parents use often with their young children when the child gets some type of small injury. A little cut, maybe a scrape, but the word Band-Aid is a brand name. The correct word would be an adhesive bandage. Here's an image I often use with my beginning students because we can learn very simple words, but we can also learn to describe things with more detail. For example, we see the sun, we see a cloud, and we see a flower. But we can also start describing more things in detail. For example, these are the sun rays. The sun also has an arm, and the sun is caressing or touching the flower. The sun has 2 eyes. The sun has cheeks. The sun has a mouth, eyebrows, and the sun has freckles on his or her or its face. And the sun is orange, red, and yellow. And here we see a cloud. Now this cloud seems to be sad. A lot of my students think that the raindrops are tears. That makes sense. And the cloud is raining onto the flower. Now the flower has petals. These are petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. And they're a dark pink color. I would maybe call it fuchsia. She has a round yellow face. Let's make the image bigger. We see that she has 2 eyebrows, eyelashes, a nose. She has a big mouth and 2 teeth that look kind of like bunny teeth or rabbit teeth. This part right here is called a stem, and she has 2 leaves. The stem and the leaves are green, and she's growing out of the soil or the ground or the dirt. The soil, the ground, or the dirt. Let's move on to our next one. Here's an image of a child who is sick in bed. I know she's sick because she has a thermometer sticking out of her mouth. A thermometer is something that we use to measure the temperature. We have thermometers in our house when we want to turn on the heat and know how hot it is, and we can also use thermometers to measure our body temperature. The girl is in bed with the covers or blankets pulled over her, and the mother is sitting on the bed with her hand on the girl's forehead. She wants to check and see how warm her forehead is. In the second image, the mother is making a phone call. She's calling someone, and I would suspect that she's calling the doctor, because a lot of times when someone is sick, we make a doctor's appointment. And I was right. And here we have a doctor using a stethoscope to listen to the daughter's chest, her heart. In this image, the mother is giving the daughter some type of liquid on a spoon. Normally, that's a type of cough medicine or possibly some other type of medicine that we take by liquid. We often give children liquid, and the liquid, the cough medicine, usually tastes good, or at least they try to make it taste good so that children actually take it. In the second to the last image, we see the girl drinking some type of liquid. Maybe it's water. It could be apple juice, but here we have a box of apple juice, so it's probably water. But here's a box of apple juice because I could see the apple on the carton. And also, we have a straw that's sticking out of the box. Children love to drink with straws. She's tilting her head back while she's drinking. And this right here is called a pitcher. There's a pitcher of liquid water right here on this dresser. And in the last image, we see the girl in bed with her eyes closed. She's sleeping, and she's probably feeling better. The medicine and the liquids that she drank probably are making her feel better. We also have something here on the nightstand, or this dresser, that is called, we call it Kleenex a lot of times. It's kind of like the word Band-Aid. The word Band-Aid is a brand name for an adhesive bandage, but we all say Band-Aid. In the same way, we say Kleenex for a type of tissue that we use to blow our nose or clean our nose. We call that Kleenex, but Kleenex is a brand name. I make French toast sometimes, and in this image we're going to learn how to make French toast. You have a few slices, I guess 1, 2, 3 slices of bread, 2 eggs. Right here we have a cup, probably a measuring cup, of milk. I know it's milk because I make French toast and we use milk. And right here we have a jug or some type of bottle of syrup. This is a maple leaf, and it's the leaf of a maple tree. In fact, the maple leaf is on the Canadian flag. And here behind the maple syrup, we have a bowl. In the second image, we're going to pour the milk into a bowl, and here we're going to add 2 eggs into the mixture. And in the third image, we're going to mix the ingredients with a mixer. I also like to add different ingredients, a little vanilla, a little cinnamon, and that way it tastes even better. In the fourth image, we're going to dip the bread into the mixture. It looks like this person has like a fork, but it would be hard to grab on with a fork, so they're probably like tongs. And in the fifth image, we fry the bread that was dipped into the mixture in a frying pan. And I like to put butter in the frying pan, and that way it makes it taste really good, and it doesn't stick to the frying pan as much. Or it shouldn't stick at all. It depends on what kind of frying pan you have. Also, you don't want to cook it too hot. And right here we can also see a spatula. A spatula is something that we use to usually pick up something when we're frying it or cooking it in a pan, like a hamburger, pancakes, eggs, French toast. And in the last image, we're going to pour the maple syrup over the French toast. And to the right of the plate with the French toast, we see a napkin, a fork, and a knife. Let's do another image. In this image, someone opened the freezer. Some people call it an ice box. And it looks like they're taking out with their left hand some type of tube. It looks, we could see here in image 2, it's actually a can. It's a can of grape juice. Right here it says grape. And they're peeling off this seal from this can of grape juice because the grape juice is called frozen concentrate. It's concentrated grape juice. And then you add water to it. In image 3, we see the person pouring or dumping the concentrate into a pitcher. Right here on the table, we see the lid. And we also see this plastic little strip, which is the seal that was around the can. In image 4, the person is filling the can of grape juice. Well, it had grape juice in it. Now it's just an empty can with water. And this is tap water. Tap means that it is not bottled water. It's from your faucet, where you get from the sink. So it's from the sink. It's from the faucet. This is called the faucet. In image 5, they're stirring the juice that's in the pitcher. And we could see that they're stirring with, it's probably a wooden spoon or something like that. And in image 6, we see a girl with long hair. She has a ponytail or maybe pigtails if there are 2 of them. I can only see the one, but she might have 2 because of the view. I might not be able to see the other one. She has hoop earrings. You could see her eyelashes. She's closing her eyes and she's drinking the grape juice. She's probably really thirsty and hot because I can see sweat right here on her face and right here on her body. Let's do another image. Now here is a really interesting image. We see a man who's sitting on a branch. So this is the branch of a tree. And we could see the leaf right here. Now this man is wearing a top hat. He's wearing a vest, a shirt, pants, and shoes. And what he's doing is he's sawing, or he's cutting the branch with a hand saw. A saw is something you use to cut wood. You could have an electric saw. This is not electric, it's a hand saw. Now, in this next image, we see that he cut the branch completely and his saw is up in the air. However, in the third image, there's something really weird happening. He made a mistake and he's sitting on the wrong side. He should have sat on this side of the tree and then cut the branch here. But instead, he cut the part that's supposed to fall. But he's not falling. That's what's strange. He should be falling, but he's not. In the next image, something unbelievable and unrealistic happens. The tree falls instead of the branch falling. Right here we see the tree falling. Here he is in the air and the tree is on the ground. And in the last image, we see him scratching his head. He's wondering, what happened? Now that was weird. Now let me show you very quickly the map of the United States. The United States has 50 states, and I want to show you something interesting. I live in Washington State, which is here. Olympia is the capital of Washington, but it's actually not the most well-known or famous city in Washington. Seattle is more famous. And there's something called the Space Needle that was constructed in 1962 during the World's Fair, which took place in Seattle. In fact, my mom went to the World's Fair in 1962. The Space Needle looks like a flying saucer. So getting back to Washington, Washington State is on the west coast of the United States. So if you start in Mexico and go north along the west coast, you'll run into California, Oregon, and then Washington. So Washington is in the northwest corner of the United States, and we are on the border with Canada. I've only been to Canada twice, and I was a child, but I'm pretty close to the border. Washington State is a beautiful state, but it rains a lot. But that's the reason it's called the Evergreen State. We have so much vegetation, mountains, rivers, lakes, waterfalls. Here's a waterfall that no longer exists. It rained so much that there was a mudslide, and this waterfall collapsed. This is also near my home. Here's a beautiful lake. Here are some streams or creeks. And you can see the snow-capped mountain, beautiful green trees, and everything is reflected in the lake. You could see the reflection of everything in this beautiful lake. During the summer, I swam in this lake and it was warm. Here's a waterfall, and you could see a tree that had fallen. You can even walk across this log. Here's a video of me doing a handstand. This is a stream and the water is very cold. And here I am doing a backflip or a back tuck into the water. I love gymnastics, and I taught competitive gymnastics for 15 years. Here's a place called Boom Shaka. It's a trampoline park. Here I am doing a whip back, layout, punch front. Here's a whip back tuck, punch front walkover. Here's a double front tucked into the pit. This is called a double full or a double twist. They have a lot of cool things here, including a trapeze at this trampoline park. Here I am at a local gymnastics center doing a back handspring, whip back, double back tuck. This is called a back handspring, double full or double twist, punch front. Try to memorize the phrases and internalize them by associating the image and what's happening with the words and the phrases. That way, you'll make things automatic.